Recording in progress. So this is Sandra, and she has a question about her career and where it's headed. Am I correct on that?
You are correct.
Okay. So full disclosure, I already know what Sandra does for a living. So, um, Sandra, I'm picking up the hunger for more. I mean, we all generally have a hunger for more, right? Generally, we all have a hunger for more, but your more is moving out of one realm and moving into another realm. It's like I see you standing on a line and you're straddling the line and you really want the chasm to get so big that you shift out of where you are into where you want to be, because you do know where you want to be. You have a very set, this is what I want to be doing with my life. But
Yep.
there's this moment of like, I'm not going to say, but there's this moment of like time, and it keeps trucking into the future, right? It is, that song says, it keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. And you're like, I feel
Yeah.
like I'm running out of time, right? And you're looking at people who are coming up behind you who are doing things that you're like, they get to do that. Why don't I get to do that?
Yeah.
Why
Right.
why does a 25-year-old get to be doing that? And I'm where I am. And I've put myself into positions over and over again where I could be noticed and I never was. Like, why is this happening for me? And why am I not getting and I'm seeing the firework. You're looking for a firework. You're looking for an explosion. You're looking for something big, right? You're looking for the big. And you're like, how come that happened for them and it's not happening for me?
Right. Yeah, that's pretty perceptive, Kim. It's giving me chills actually. Ooh.
So it's not that the dream is wrong, because our dreams are never wrong, right? It's not that the dream is wrong. And it's not that you weren't in the right place at the right time, give or take, right? Like there's that possibility. But I see it more as if you had gotten it at 25 or you had gotten it at 30, right? It would have done something to your ego.
Probably vastly inflated it. Knowing me.
It would have. Okay, I just had Poe, like Edgar Allan Poe, hop through my head, right?
Oh, well,
He was never known when he was alive, right? He exploded after he died.
I gotta wait till I'm dead.
Not saying that. Gosh, am I saying that? No, I heard no. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the timing, all right, I'm just gonna be really honest as somebody who like walks in timing all the time myself, right? The timing is shitty, right? It's really hard as an intuitive to pin down a time, because
Mhm.
when you're in intuition, time is fluid. And I can look at something that's in the past and feel like it's the future, and I can look at something that's in the future and feel like it's in the past, because
Yeah.
time jumps. It's not, we think of time as having either past, present, or future, right? It's happening now, it's happening now, it's happening now, or it already happened, or it's coming. In
Thing
the
is
end,
linear. Yeah.
yeah, in a linear row, like a train, right? A train doesn't go backwards, it goes forwards, right?
Right.
That's the way we think of time. But when you get into like the metaphysical and the physics of it, time doesn't necessarily work that way. And so intuition is tapping into energy, and energy, whenever you're looking at it, it's the possibility of now. Even if it was in the past, it's the possibility of now. And if you're looking at it in the future, it's the possibility of now. It's what does the energy now say that that's going to be? And so you're looking at it as the Bible would say, in a glass darkly. But I always think of it as like a funhouse mirror, or as a mirror that's like, a really old mirror that you clean it and it still doesn't get clean and everybody's sort of
Uh-huh.
shadowy in it. That's
Yeah.
one of the spooky horror movies, like with the shadowy mirror, right? It's that's the way I feel of time. So
Huh.
I see you like, oh, I forget the name of the guy. Sisyphus. Is it Sisyphus? I think it's Sisyphus. I think it's Sisyphus, but I could be wrong. Sisyphus just
Rolling
popped through my head. The rolling of the rock up the hill. I see you like Sisyphus, where you're just like, I'm going to keep rolling this rock up this hill, right? You're just going to keep rolling it up. And it doesn't, one of the things that's really amazing about you is it doesn't matter how many times the rock smushes you back into the ground, right? The rock comes by, you know, in those cartoons where the rock comes by and it squishes them down and then they get up out from behind the rock and then they continue going up the hill, right?
right.
I sort of feel like it doesn't matter how many times you get squished, that you're just sort of like, okay, right?
Is that
So,
persistence or is that stupidity?
well, there is a level in energy that is perseverance and the quality of perseverance. And I would never call perseverance stupid. I would call perseverance a pressing into energy and saying, you are going to open the door for me. You are going to open this door. You are going to open this door. And you just keep pressing into the door, right? It's exhausting at times. And there are times that we're just like, we want to throw it in the air and drop the F-bomb and say, and walk it away, right?
Yeah.
But when the dream is a real dream and it's not, and it's something soul given, and it's not just in your head, this is what I want, but there's a drive and there's a force and there's a need for it and there's a no turning back. Like there's no other option for me. This is it. There's no other option for me. Then you just keep Sisyphusing.
Yeah, because it's a force that's outside of you that's
Exactly.
on, and you're not even sure where it's coming from, but you just know I need to do this.
Mm-hmm. And that's just it. You need to do this. This is your task in this lifetime. And if I had another word for you, I would. If I said, you know what, you need to drop this and go stop doing the side job, right? There's a job and then there's a new job you really want and you're straddling between the two. I'd be like, stop both of them and go work for corporate, right? If that were the case, I would be saying that. And I don't really see you flourishing in that, right? You could go into a marketing house and bring your skills to a marketing house. You really could. But all I see is wilted flowers when I do that.
Yeah, and I've been there, done that, you know.
I didn't even know that. Yeah.
Flowers, got the layoff, got the layoff, got the we're real sorry, but
As my psychic likes to say, rejection is protection. And so in that instance, when you got the layoff, I'm seeing that you looked at the forks in the road, and I think there were a number of them. I think there were 3 or 4 of them, and you chose the one that made you happiest and gave you the most fulfillment. Might have even been the scariest.
definitely scariest because of being on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I took one path that ended with a boss that yelled at me and made me cry.
I
That
hate
didn't
bosses
last
that do
long.
that. Wait, what did you say after that? Because I cut you off. I was saying I hate that.
That didn't last long.
Oh no, I'm sure it didn't. I
I would
actually,
rather go for the riskier, you know? I would
yeah,
rather go for the riskier, gee, I might end up homeless path than work with someone who's going to abuse me, you know?
yeah. I love that, like, when you walk down the path, you're like, okay, marketing closed. I'm going to go down this other path. And you meet an angry boss. You're like, you know what? This is my sign from the universe. I'm going to go do what I need to do.
Exactly.
So, do you get there? Right? I guess that's the question of like, not necessarily when do I get the big break, but do I even get the big break? Because do I get the explosion? Do I get the fireworks? Do I get the thing? There's energy for it. I see energy for it.
But is the big explosion, the fireworks, the thing? Is that something that someone gives you, or you give
Because
yourself to give it to yourself?
no, it's neither. Well, it's the universe opening the doors to create the life, to create the thing, right? Because I think in your head, okay, this might spill a little bit about what I know. So just, um, I think in your head, you're like, well, once one script takes off, or one movie takes off that I write, or one film short that I write, or once one of them takes off, my name will be out there and I'll be known, and then I'll get a lot more opportunity to write, and then I will become somebody that they ask to be on writing teams, or I'll be somebody that they ask to be, to write movies, or they'll be like, I'll be a part of a Kevin Smith, right? Where he like wrote it and then made the movie and then did the big, and he just like Clerks just blew up, right?
Yeah.
And so I think there's that moment of you for you where you're like, what's going to be the Clerks for me? And that's not to negate all of the amazing awards you have already won and all of the successes you've already had. And I do see the like, how at the Democratic convention at the end when they're like they win, how when they win, all the little pieces of blue and white, red
Yeah, the confetti and everything comes down.
flutters. I definitely see that on you. I see it in your hair. I see it on you. So I do think that if you continue Sisyphusing, right, and pressing in and submitting to competitions and submitting to, but I also, oh, so remember when we went to see, no, you and I didn't go see. Did you ever see Fablemans?
No, I haven't seen that yet. That's the Spielberg movie, right?
Yes, yes. Okay. This is going to be way longer than 15 minutes. Are you okay with that?
I've got to.
Okay. You know how in the Fablemans, you didn't see the Fablemans,
Mhm.
but do you know Greg Grunberg shows up in the weirdest of places? Do you know that? Greg Grunberg, he just shows up. So do you know who Greg Grunberg is? No. All right. He was in Felicity, and he shows up in like Guardians of the Galaxy. He
Okay.
also shows up in Star Wars.
Okay.
I think Greg Grunberg showed up in Guardians of the Galaxy. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, universe. I'm sorry if I put him in the wrong place. But he's like a character in Felicity who always has like an idea for the next big idea. He's always got an idea for the next big thing. That's who his character was in Felicity. That was a TV show in like the 90s.
So it was actually I've hardly ever heard anyone mention Felicity, but I was on a webinar last night with J.J. Abrams and Judd
Yeah.
Apatow, and J.J. Abrams worked on Felicity and talked
Yes.
about
In
Felicity.
in the first season, J.J. Abrams was the first season of Felicity. Um, he was brilliant. And after he left, but I had the moment in Fablemans to bring me back. In the Fablemans, the Steven Spielberg character goes to a producer, like a movie producer. He goes to a studio to meet somebody. He like mailed out letter after letter after letter after letter after letter after letter after letter, and nobody bites his letter, nobody bites his letter, nobody bites his letter, nobody bites his letter, nobody. And then Greg Grunberg does. And he shows up in Greg Grunberg's office. And Greg Grunberg goes, "You don't need me. You need the guy next door." So he brings him into some other guy's office who is like this big famous director that I don't know the name of, but I know you will totally know the name of. And he shows him like, "Where's the horizon?" And he's like, "It's there." "No, it's there." "Where's the horizon in that picture?" "It's there." "Where's the horizon in that picture?" "It's down there." He's like, "The horizon is never in the middle," right? Which this painting right behind me, horizon's in the middle. Painting right there, right? Where is it? Right there. Horizon's in the middle, right? Well, yeah. So, the point that I'm trying to make here, Sandra, thank you for being so patient with me, is that I see you Sisyphusing to studios. That a door that will open for you is if you go, instead of not just film festivals, fabulous, do that, yes. But I also see you being bold to write a feature length, not just a 1-pager or a 20-minute or a, right? Because I know that there are times you're like, film festivals are looking for short, so you go short, right? But I also see you starting to play with ideas that are bigger than short and starting to be bold to studios.
Well, here's the thing, Kim.
Yeah.
I haven't told you about this either, but there is actually a brand new studio that was established with the goal of producing more projects by women producers, women directors, with topics that are relevant to women and that dominantly focus on social justice. And they joined with, and I just found out about this yesterday, and they joined with Stage 32, and they have a contest for feature. And so I had to talk to Oliver. We got to take this short and turn it into a feature and submit it, because this contest is like, it was made for this.
It was. So
And
Sandra, just to bring everybody in, Sandra is talking about a movie that she and Oliver's the director, Sandra is the writer, and actually I'm an executive producer on.
I love it.
It's a film that's coming out called Mail Order Bride. So, and it deals with the abortion issue. And so for those of you who are listening, just to bring you into context so that you can hear the conversation we're having. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
what Oliver said on the conversation, he said, we've talked about this.
Yes.
Because one of our goals was to get someone to fund a studio or something to fund us to write that as a feature. He's like, you and I can do this together. We can get this done and submit it to the contest.
I totally believe that completely.
So you must have picked up on that.
Well, maybe I did. Maybe that's the studio.
About it, of all the developments and everything going on, I did not tell you about that.
You did not tell me about that. No. I did not know about that. So, yeah. So I actually see you handing scripts to people where you're like, here's my baby. And having them hand you back a contract.
Whoa.
I see it. Like I saw it. I see you handing the script and then them handing you back a couple thinner pieces of paper with a pen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it a favorable contract? We don't have to go into I know you're not necessarily going to get some psychic. Well, yes.
Well, wait a minute. This is such a great moment. I'm going to put my hands on my head and be like, ah, this is such a good moment. Okay, no, you need to hear this. The universe hears your words. And your words have power. And so I know doubt is real. And I know KNOW, DOUBT, KNOW, doubt is real, right? I know it. I know doubt is real, right?
Doubt.
But however, if anybody just clips a clip of that will be hilarious. But I can know doubt is real. However, the words we use are really, really important. And so for you even to throw out there, I doubt it'll ever happen, or who would ever pick it up, or this is all just a pipe dream, or I don't want to. No, that contract that they hand you has 8 zeros on it before a number.
Really?
No, you make it up. It's just a number. Who cares what number is on it? If you want it to be a small number, have it be a small number. But if you want it to be a big number, put a big freaking number on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So if that's what you want the big number contract, then yes, put the big number on your head. So as you're like,
write it down. I'll write it down on a piece of paper.
Yes.
Put it up on the wall.
Yes. You could even bury it in the ground. So you can't really see it Right there, you see the envelope? Do you see the envelope on the wall right there? You see this?
Oh, yeah. I thought
You see the envelope on the wall? The envelope on the wall is actually all the things I'm asking the universe for.
oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So when I get like a big want, I just like I throw it in the envelope on the universe.
And then
And if
what
it doesn't come
happens when it
around,
happens? What happens when it happens? And do you take it out of the envelope and replace it with something new?
um, to be honest, I don't know if anything's happened in there yet.
I forgot what you put in there. I love it.
I can tell you the biggest one hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
I can tell you the biggest one hasn't happened yet. Well, the other
Okay.
one's like, I'm building, I'm also Sisyphusing, right? I'm
Me too.
pushing my rock up the wall.
Aren't
So,
we all really?
yeah, aren't we all? So, um, when you imagine, so I can see you handing the script and it's got like those grommet things, those little brass that goes in and then you sweep it out in the bottom. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the old school.
The old school brass things that hold scripts together, right? When
Huh?
you hand them, I see you actually handing them. Yeah, and it's been like typewriter typed. Like that's the font on this script. When you hand them the script, and I see them handing you back the contract with a pen, I want you to put the number that you want on that contract.
Okay.
Okay. And just
Okay.
keep imagining that over and over.
Okay.
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 I will.
I think that's everything.
Okay.
Is there
Um,
anything else that you want me to poke into? You have additional questions? You want me to?
no, I don't think so. It's I mean, you kind of know what my goals are, but you also know there are these external forces that I have no control over that are also impacting. I mean, you've got these strikes going on and everything, right? So there's a lot of external forces that I
Right.
have no control over that also
Are hindering you at this moment. Well,
well
just
could
because
impact me reaching my goal.
no. So a writer's strike. Okay, I had two things pop through my head. All right. I'm going to give you the first and then the second thing. A
Okay.
writer's strike does not mean a writer's strike is going to be lasting forever. So you're on hold, you're getting time to write. That's what you're getting at this time, right? Because you can't submit, so you're just going to have to keep writing on your own, and it's giving you time to do that. Woohoo, right? The other thing is Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog went through my head.
I keep meaning to see that, but I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my gosh, it's freaking genius. Like, granted, it's Josh Whedon, and we know that he has some Me Too abusive things
Problematic.
going on, problematic, right? There's some problematic things with Josh. Josh. However, it doesn't negate the greatness of his work, right?
Right.
Because Monet used to put his foot through paintings all the time because they never looked the way he wanted them to. And Hemingway used to beat his wives. He was a terrible man, right?
I
So
was
like,
also a raging alcoholic.
yeah, and a raging alcoholic. Like he wasn't a fat, I think he beat his wives, I'm pretty sure. But just right, but that doesn't negate the art inside the artist.
Oh, William F. Burroughs killed his wife playing William Tell. Put an apple on her head.
Really?
Yeah, and he's one of my favorite writers.
Well, there you go. So Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog was made in 3 parts, 3 parts, I'm pretty sure. It was made in 3 parts, and it was made during a writer's strike.
Oh, okay. He made the movie, he didn't just write it.
He didn't just
So
write it. No, I
he
think it had already been written, and all these people were off of work. So he got them. He got Neil Patrick Harris. He got, oh my gosh, Nathan Fillion. He got like all these famous actors to do Dr. Horrible. His brother's even in it. His brother plays the guy who looks like David Bowie at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, he got all these famous people who would normally be contracted into all these other things, and he grabbed them and said, "Hey, I have this thing I want to do. Will you come?" And maybe they like worked on the script a little bit together. And I mean, Neil Patrick Harris really had to work at one of those songs. One of those songs is extremely challenging. And it's a musical, right? And so there's like lots that went into making this movie. And they used the time they used the time during the writer's strike to make it happen. And so those two thoughts that I had, where you have the opportunity, you might not be able to submit. It's not like you can hand the script today, but the energy is there for you to hand the script, right? Doesn't mean you even have a script at this moment to hand.
I might. Might have a couple.
You might. Right? But you script, right? But just because you can't hand it over doesn't mean that you can't be like looking and tweaking and finding and maybe doing some filming. I don't know why, or doing something.
Yeah, that's my plan.
Of course, it's your plan. You always have a plan.
I always have a plan.
You always have a plan. Yeah. So, any other questions for me?
I don't think so. That was really great, though. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. It was fun.
And I hope painless.
I didn't feel any pain at all. What are you talking about?
Some people, when they get into the intuitive readings, they're like, "You're gonna air my mail and my dirty laundry, and I don't want the world to know."
You're gonna find out.
What'd you say?
They're afraid of what you're gonna find out.
Exactly. Yep.
My secrets.
Ooh. Yeah, you don't. You're like obsessed with cats. I think that's the biggest secret there is.
I'm pretty much of an open book. All right, my dear.
All right, darling. It was so good seeing you, and I'm gonna stop the recording.
Okay.